Okay, while I was loading up this video to watch, this thing for 3 pennies by Bankrupting America came on, and they said finding just 3 cents on the dollar in the annual federal budget to replace sequestration isn't draconian or drastic. It's the responsible thing to do, considering we're $16.6 trillion in debt and on our way to $20 trillion in debt in the next 4 years. Americans expect more and more from Washington than passing the blame and demagoguing. Passing blame isn't choosing to take 3% of our budget from, well, I don't know whether it's critical programs, but I'm saying, but isn't that basically passing blame versus actually taking things away from them? Because that's what the sequestration is doing. It's firing people. Lockheed is projecting that sequestration will cause them to lay off 10,000 employees. Hundreds of thousands of workers face being let go after Friday in order to reach reductions in defense by $500 billion and non-defense by $700 billion to reduce the deficit this year and the next decade by at least $1.2 trillion. Firms have to follow state and federal laws when it comes to letting people go. That means they have to justify the layoff between sequestration in many cases. Beyond sequestration. A worker must have to be told why she is being let go. Now, this ad that I just saw said that that sequestration does not involve passing blame and demagoguing, but the law says the worker has to be told why he or she is being let go beyond sequestration. In order to actually fire them and make this layoff, you have to pass blame. If you fire a whole bunch of park rangers, for instance, contractor employees often work in highly specialized fields. So if entire programs are eliminated or substantially reduced, it will be difficult for former employees, such as park rangers or people that have trained their whole lives to do what they're doing now, to find comparable employment. This is a recipe for workers to sue the firm. So already employees are getting warn notices. The Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, which requires most employers to provide a 60-day notice in advance of plant closing and mass layoffs to non-union workers. Well, I've already received this myself, so I got an email warning us that things are going to be cut, and for one thing, it's the part-time employees that are going to be suffering. It's not the middle class, it's the poor. The 3% that are going to be cut are the poor. If you got fired, you could sue the company because of sequestration. But the irony is, those actions would likely end up in front of the Labor Relations Board. But guess what? Because of sequestration, there wouldn't be anyone at the Labor Relations Board to hear their case. 3 cents out of every dollar Washington spends. Oh, that's all we're cutting. We're cutting the poor. We're cutting the bottom 3% out of the budget. We're doing it in the most possible damaging way. So we fire as many of the most. We're keeping the money for the very, very rich, and we're firing the very, very poor.